Hello, it's Rachel and I'm here for my end of February update. Well, it's not the end of February right now, it's halfway through February, but by the time you see it, it will be. So the first project I'm showing is my little fox. This is my work project. It's a pattern I bought from Etsy by SAL, I think. And it's a little fox sat on some, or sleeping on some cushions. So last time you saw it, I'd done his ears, his forehead, and I just started putting in some of these lighter coloured stitches for the sides of his face, just on one side. So I've done quite a lot more of those stitches now. I'm filled in some more of the orangey colours, and you can kind of see now where his eyes are going to be. I think his nose is here as well. That'll be the bridge of his nose coming down. But he's taken shape quite nicely. I've got to put my 100 stitches in for today. I've not done that yet, but that will be the next thing I do once I've recorded this little clip. Then my birthday project, which I started yesterday. So it is the 16th of February today. And I'm on half term, so I've got all week to, well, not just a stitch, obviously I've got other things to do as well, but I will get substantially more stitches in. So this was my first day stitching. I think it's about 500 stitches. I'm really liking the colours on it. They're actually darker than I was expecting from the pattern. Some of the, well, the first red that I put in, I was like, oh, that's really dark. And it almost looked like a rosebud rather than part of a geranium. But as that piece comes together, you'll be able to see that it is a geranium. And I think I mentioned on my last video, I'm stitching this on Cashel linen 28 count in the colour is colour 99, which is like a pale ivory. And last one for now is Fairytale Town. So this morning I've been filling in over here. Oh, I moved it because I was so close to over here it was getting difficult to stitch, and the fabric was a little loosey-goosey down here, so I needed to move it and tighten it up a bit. But I've been working my way out of this corner because I've got the same problem over here. Whenever you're too close to the edges, if you've not been careful putting it in the Q-snap, it's yeah, it can be a bit loose in the corner. But anyway, I've worked my way across here, filling things in, and I'll just obviously keep moving across. Oh, I backstitched the little horse as well. Let's have a little look at him. I think it turned out really nice, and I have mentioned this is my favourite part of the whole design, the horse on the bridge. Now, whilst I remember, somebody asked me on my previous video, how do I deal with all the fabric? And it is a little bit of a nightmare. So I'm working on a Q-snap, but I've got extensions on it. Well, you can't see because it's underneath. So you can buy extensions for Q-snaps. And I think, I honestly can't remember whether I've got one or two on here. So it's longer than it would normally be, and taller than it would normally be as well. And then the fabric itself is rolled up here. So when I started, it was obviously rolled up on this side, but now I'm getting towards the finish. There's barely anything on this side, and it's actually, there's so little that it's kind of dropped underneath now. But it was this side. You can't even see that. So there's the fabric that's left, and I do just kind of roll it and then tuck it in as much as I can into my grime guard. It does mean that you can't stitch all the way over here because there's a big chunk of fabric in the way. But I mean, I've not found it a problem stitching. It's not been in my way because generally, I don't move it all the way to the very edge. So anyway, that's how I've done it. I kind of have ruined my grime guard in the process because the elastic's kind of completely gone on it. So it was a bit of a sacrifice on that. And that's mostly because this grime guard was not made for this size Q-snap, and it certainly wasn't made to accommodate this amount of fabric. And to be honest, it was, you know, it's a few years old anyway, so the elastic does go over time. But anyway, I just wanted to share that. I hope it's helpful to the person that asked me. Alright, I am going to do my 100 stitches on my fox, and then I'm going to go back to my birthday project, I think. I do have some seeds to sow today, and some peonies to plants, peony roots to plants. So that's on the jobs list for today. My little fox has got eyes. I've just done my morning stitching on this piece. He's so cute. I was thinking I might switch out this fox and have him as a home project rather than a work project. The reason being, well, firstly, there's tons and tons of backstitch all over him. I'll put a little photo in so you can see. But he's quite big, and this little frame is ideal for taking to work. And I know I can move the frame, but I'm thinking if I put him on a bigger frame and stitch him at home and maybe take something smaller to work, that might work out better. But how cute is that little face? I just love him. And I'm just about to get onto the colours of the cushions. So there's a little paw here, and then the cushions start on this side here. But I may put in some of that backstitch first. He's going to look so good though. Anyway, I wanted to share that. So I might as well share my other projects that I've been working on. So Fairytale Town, still doing the 200 a day. And it feels like it's gone a little bit slower over the last few days because of this section here. But it's I'm just kind of finishing off this section. It's quite confetti heavy. There's lots of different greens, lots of different shades. I mean, you can't even tell really in the camera, I don't think, but there's 2 shades of pink there. And I think there's like 4 shades of green in it. And then, you know, there's these odd scattered white stitches and yellow stitches. Anyway, I'm kind of out of that section now, and moving along. I suppose I have made pretty good progress because this was like the whole section. It seems a while since I was working on that horse, but that was done this year. So I guess I have done quite a bit. It's now at 85% complete. So not long to go on this one. And I will miss stitching on it. I was thinking about this because it's probably on a work day, it's probably the most stitches I get in the morning, that 200, because quite often I get home from work and the 100 on another project is just sometimes such a struggle because I'm so tired. So I'll probably switch it out for another big project, maybe one of the big Luca full coverage pieces. At the moment I'm thinking maybe one of the Christmas ones that I showed. I think maybe 2 or 3 videos ago when I was making plans, whenever my plans video was. So I'm thinking maybe one of those might replace it as a, you know, a long-term project, because they have, so I think the Santa with the reindeer has like 50,000 stitches or something like that, which isn't too much. Well, there's about 30,000 difference. I think this one's about 80,000, 90,000. I think it's around about 80,000 cross stitches, but then, you know, all the back stitch and half stitches, I think it adds up to about 90,000. But we've only got 14,000 stitches left on this one, which is great. Yeah, really pleased with how it's going. And then my other project is my birthday start. And look at this one. It's so pretty. So I worked all day yesterday on this one. Well, after I've done my morning stitches on the Little Fox and Fairytale Town, I've been spending the rest of the day on this, so last 3 days. And it's so pretty. I really do love these botanical patterns from Veronique Enginger. And I was stitching it yesterday. This took me virtually all day yesterday, this section. And even though it took all day just to do that bit, I'm, you know, at the back of my mind, I'm thinking, this is going to be done really fast and I'll be able to move on to another one. And reality is, once I'm back at work next week, no, it won't be done really fast. But still, I'm thinking about which one I want to do next. Possibly the cherries design. But I'm really liking the flower ones as well. I don't know, there's so many of them. I might put in a little montage of some of my favourite patterns, and then maybe you can let me know what your favourites are, what you think I should work on next. I don't have all of them, but I do have quite a lot of them. So anyway, time to move on. I'm going to get something to eat and probably pick up this piece again, I think, for the rest of today. So I did mention about doing a little montage of Veronique Enginger patterns, just in case anyone's not familiar with them, and even if you are familiar with them, they're a really nice series of patterns. They're really pretty, so I thought it'd be nice to look at some patterns. So the ones, I'm not going to show all of them, but the ones that are most likely to be stitched, I'd like to stitch them all, but you know, time is a thing, and I've got so many other kits and patterns and projects that I'd like to do as well. But the ones that are high up on my priority list, certainly the fruit series, so the strawberries pattern may be the next fruit pattern that I do. I stitched the raspberries already a couple of years ago, so the strawberries would go very nicely with that. Then there's the cherries pattern as well, and there's red currants, and all of those kind of red fruits go together really nicely. Then also there is oranges and lemons that I'd like to stitch. They're just so pretty. They're just how these designs are put together with, you know, the colour against the sepia tones. And then there's a very recent design which is grapes. I believe this is quite recent, in the last, maybe, I don't know, because I've not been looking, but certainly I've only noticed it in the last 12 months. So the grapes is a high priority. And then also some of the vegetables. There are actually 2 different tomato patterns that I really like. One of them is in the Botanical series, and one of them is not. It has like a blue, almost delf kind of background to it, but I like both of them. And then from the flower range, obviously I'm doing the geranium right now, but I'd also like to do the violets. I don't have, well, some of them I've got kind of partially kitted up, but I don't have the violets kitted up or anything. The ones that I do kind of have, I'm trying to think now, I think I've got about 3 or 4 of them kitted up, the flower series. So the fuchsias, I definitely want to stitch. That might be the next flower one, possibly. The iris I do have kitted. I tried to choose ones with different colours, so I chose one of the very few purple toned flower ones. Then there's the dahlia, which I really like. I think I have that one kitted up, but I think it might be the orchid, so I'll talk about the orchid one next and show you that. So the orchid and the dahlia are very similar colours, but I think it's the orchid that I've kitted up. I love orchids. I've never had an orchid, I don't know how to look after them or anything, so I'm not sure whether I'd be able to keep one in real life, but they are beautiful flowers. Magnolias I adore. Again, I can't have a magnolia tree because they need quite a large space and it would completely take over my garden, I think. I know you can get those little standard ones, maybe I'll look at those one day, but it reminds, so magnolias I like in a sort of, I mean, the beautiful flowers, but in a kind of nostalgic way. When I was a student, university student, I had a part-time job and I used to start quite early in the morning, and I used to walk past this magnolia tree to get to work every single morning. It was just gorgeous. It obviously must have been sort of springtime, but yeah, that's just a memory I have from my early 20s. And the hydrangea as well is one that's high up on my priority list. I mean, there's so many more. The roses as well. So there's about 4 or 5 different roses, but there's one called Just Joey that I think is absolutely stunning. So that one I think would be high up on my list as well. Anyway, if you want to have a look, because obviously there's a lot more patterns than that. I'll just mention primroses actually, because I really like that one too, and show you that one. That's yeah, that's one I might go for pretty soon. But they're all French designs. Veronique's a French designer, and I was fortunate enough to find a magazine. It's a French magazine that has virtually all of the flower ones in it. So I've got all those patterns from there, and a lot of the others have been printed in French magazines as well, but you know, you have to look for them on eBay, and you have to know which issue number you're looking for, so it's a little bit of research to find them that way, but you can buy them from a French website. I don't know the exact name of it, but if you just type in Veronique Enginger, it'll come up straight away. The only problem with that, for me at least, it might not be a problem for anyone else, but when you buy them from there, you've got to buy, it's the pattern and the fabric, and I don't want to stitch them on the fabric that's supplied. I want to choose my own. So yeah, that's the only thing. You do get a little charm with them though, a little dragonfly charm with a lot of the flower patterns. I'm not sure whether you get anything with the vegetable ones or not. Anyway, I just wanted to share those, and I hope you enjoyed seeing them. Hello, it is now Thursday morning. I've got a little update, not a very big one, but I do have an update. So I'm going to show you this piece first. This is my birthday start. It is geraniums, the botanical geraniums. I'm not even sure what the proper name of it is, but anyway, it's the geranium pattern by Veronique Enginger in the botanical style. And I've been working on this the last couple of days, and I'm going to put it down for a bit now, so I just thought I'd give an update on that. So that's the first one. It's at, I think, about 20% complete, which is not bad. Then I've got my little fox. I've transferred him to a bigger nudge hoop, and I spoke yesterday about him not being a work project anymore. So the problem with this size hoop is it doesn't fit into my little bag that I take to work with all my cross stitch stuff in, which is why I was thinking I needed a smaller design. So that's what I've done with him, and on my nudge hoop that did have him in, I have now got some fabric ready to go with a single stitch, well, half a stitch, for something new. And it's something you haven't seen before because I did a thing. So yesterday I was scrolling through Instagram, as you do, and I came across this SAL. Now, I've always said I'll never take part in a SAL because I don't like to not know what the pattern is. I don't want to pay money or waste stitching hours on something that I might not like. But this one's kind of different, so it's not, although it is a bit of a mystery, you know what the first two patterns are. So it's a calendar SAL by one of the Ukrainian designers. It's Xfreestitch if anybody's interested. I'm not sure when the cut-off date is, but hopefully this video is out before the cut-off date. I have a feeling it's in March, the cut-off date. Anyway, it started in the middle of January, so it wasn't a January 1st start. And you got to choose from two patterns for January. I liked both of them, so it was a difficult decision. I ended up choosing a little pattern with polar bears on. There was a really cute cat as well, and I'll put them both on the screen so you can see the choice of the January patterns. And then the February patterns have also been released, and there is a choice of 3 patterns for February, and I've chosen a cute little panda for that. But again, I could have chosen, I think it was between 2, but you know, I liked them, so I like the designer. I've bought things from her Etsy shop before. I liked both the January patterns and the February patterns, and the cost for it's a year SAL. Did I say it was a calendar SAL? So it's going to be January, February, March, obviously, etc. With them all being themed around the current month. It only cost, in US dollars, it was $5.50. For me, that was I think around £4, which is like £2 a pattern, just for the January, February ones. You don't pay anything else the rest of the year, that's it. So I figured, even if I don't like the rest of the patterns, or even if I can't keep up with the SAL, I've just got 2 patterns that I really like for a really low cost. The only caveat to it is that you do not get the rest of the patterns sent until you post your finishes on the first pattern. So although I've got January and February together, when it comes to the March pattern, so you'll have to have January's finished and February's finished and prove that you finished them to get the March one, and then you'll obviously have to finish March to get April's, etc. So anyway, I didn't think that was bad, and I've never done a SAL. Now, can I keep up with it? I don't know. I'm doubtful that I can keep up with it, which would be a shame because I'll lose out on the rest of the patterns, but I'm going to have a go. I'm going to spend the next few days on the January pattern, see if I can get it to a place where, you know, it's half done, and then take it to work after that, and then do the same with the February pattern. Anyway, I just wanted to share that because I'm about to start stitching on it, and I've got a grey fabric for it because the polar bears are white, so I didn't really want to do it on white, even though they're backstitched, so it would have worked. They're in like this little igloo. I think it'll work. There are some grey colours, but they're mostly, apart from right at the very bottom, they're mostly in the middle of the design, surrounded by other stitches, so they won't get lost. But anyway, if anybody wants to join, if it's still open, I think it is, I'll put a link. Well, I'll put a link to the Etsy shop because you can actually buy the polar bear pattern already. And I'll see if I can put an Instagram link to the post, but it's Xfreestitch on Instagram anyway, I think. Don't quote me on that. I'll put it in the video description. Alright, that's everything for now. I'm going to go stitch. I'm back. It's the end of the day now, so I just wanted to share my progress on the SAL that I'm taking part in. And also, I kind of forgot to say about, you know, how you pay and communicate and all that sort of stuff. So Xfreestitch is a Ukrainian lady on Instagram. You need to direct message her. She will message back in Ukrainian, so you'll have to use the translate facility on Instagram. But it's fine to message her in English, and then she will send you her PayPal account, and you just pay her via PayPal, and then she'll ask you for your email address and what file format you want. So there's PDF, and I'm using the Saga file. Anyway, this is how much I've done so far. So I'm at 30%. I have literally stitched it all day though, so I like how it's coming out though. I wasn't really sure about the grey fabric. I'm still a little bit on the fence whether I should have actually just used white or not, but we'll see how it looks. It looks better in the camera actually, and it is only a very pale grey. I just sometimes think that pale grey just looks dirty. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to carry on for a little while, and then I'll probably pick up some other projects tomorrow. Alright then, see you in the next one. Hello, I thought I'd do a quick update. It is now Wednesday. I've only worked on 2 projects since going back to work following the half-term break. So Fairytale Town, obviously. Still doing my 200 stitches. I've completed this area of green stitch in here. I've worked on the path there. This is more path area from the house. There's quite a lot of white stitches on here. Filled in this grass area and flowers, the purple and pink flowers, and blue on there as well. So that's Fairytale Town. This was my point that I've been aiming to get to before I start the last house. So I've got a little bit of green here, some purple stitches like these kind of trees that are in the background in the purple half stitches, and then obviously this bit of path now, so quite a lot has been completed. Yeah, still on for the target date for finish, which is end of April. I did think, you know, if I could get a few more stitches in, I could bring that forward, but realistically I just can't get more than 200 stitches in before work, and on Monday of this week I didn't even get that. I had to finish them off when I got home. So yeah, as much as I'd like to bring that date forward a bit, it's pretty much unrealistic. Anyway, then my other project is this one here, which is the calendar SAL that I'm doing by one of the Ukrainian designers. She is Xfreestitch on Instagram and has an Etsy shop as well. So this is, I think it's about 67, maybe 70%, or it's very close to 70% if I've not hit that. And still around, I think, 800 stitches left, and then all the back stitching, but it's getting there. I'm not sure my target was to get this finished this week, and it's Wednesday, so again I think it's unrealistic that I'll get it done by Friday, which was my target. Well, to get the stitching done by then and then do the back stitching on weekend. I don't think I'll meet that, but I'm going to work on it this evening because I've not been able to get as many stitches done at work as I anticipated. But isn't that always the way, that you have these overly ambitious plans where stitching is concerned, and it's always much slower than what you think it's going to be. Anyway, that's everything for now, and I'll do another update at the weekend, and it'll be the end of February already. Gosh, the year is going by so quickly. So yeah, you'll have a video update at the weekend. Hello, it's Rachel again, and this is probably my last clip for the month. It is the 1st of March today, so I'm hoping to get this video uploaded, but I just wanted to finish off my progress update for the last 2 weeks. So, well, the first thing I want to show you is a finish. So this is the calendar SAL that I've started with Xfreestitch on Instagram, and this one is obviously January's, the polar bears. So I have been stitching it at work, but I have also been stitching it in the evenings as well, because I just wasn't going to catch up otherwise. So that is pretty much what's been taking a lot of my time. It's stitched on a 28 count Zweigart fabric. It was called Dove Grey on the label, but I know different companies call them different things, so who knows, I don't know the colour number, but anyway, quite pleased with that. So I'll be starting the February one today. I know 1st of March, but I did join the SAL late, and I'm thinking I'll put a picture on the screen of what the design is going to look like. But I'm thinking of stitching it on this. I've had this in my stash for a while. It's a Joberlin 28 count in honeysuckle pink. So I think that will suit the design well. So yeah, thinking of doing that. So I'm going to have to get that fabric cut and get that sorted out. And I'll probably spend today stitching on it since I'm still playing catch up. But hopefully once this month is out of the way, then I don't know, it's March already. I'm thinking I'll be caught up, maybe not. Maybe I'll be playing catch up for a month or so, maybe until Easter. I don't know, but anyway. Then I worked on this piece yesterday. This is my Luca S water lilies, and it looks so good. I've still to put back stitching. I've only done a very, very small amount of back stitch, but I worked on getting this flower filled in yesterday and doing quite a lot on this, and then I did some of this blue as well, bringing it down, these stitches over here. I think I did about 600 stitches yesterday. So I love how it's turning out. And I just felt like working on it yesterday, no other reason than that, so I just picked it up and put the stitches in, and it's not been worked on, I don't think at all in February, maybe once. So I did want to get some progress on that piece. And then obviously Fairytale Town is still coming on strong. I've just put my stitches in for this morning's. So this week I've been working on getting all this path in, still filling in stitches down here. There's not much of that greenery area that still needs doing. And then I was looking at my pattern, from somewhere around where these white stitches end, there's only another 100 stitches across to the end of the pattern. Currently on, I think 80, gosh, I'm guessing now. It's either 86 or 88%. I've got about 11,000 stitches left. So yeah. Anyway, that is everything. I hope everyone's had a great stitching month, and I will see you again in March.